asked them about the choice of Pandora's Box as the opening title on the new LP.
Well, it's a song that we wrote. It's not one of our newer songs. It's a song that we wrote some time ago, in fact. And we've never been able to record it successfully. And whilst we were doing the album, one of the days Jerry Lee said, have you got any songs that you haven't played us? Because before we started making the album, we sat down and we played a lot of songs to them, and talked about different ideas we had. And he said, have you got a song that we haven't heard? So we've got a few songs that nobody's heard, and so we played him Pandora's Box, which is a song that we've always liked, but which for some reason we never got around to doing. And they liked that, and they took it over, transformed it completely.
Yeah.
Typewriter Torment is a track that I like from the album, and I'm wondering if it's faintly autobiographical at all.
It's completely autobiographical.
Do you have a hard time not writing?
Do you mean, do I have a hard time stopping myself from writing? No, I don't have a hard time stopping myself.
I think that is the song is completely about the opposite thing, rather, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's about not being able to do it, the same as another song on the album called Without a Doubt. There's a similar type of thing about not being able to get the inspiration and wanting to do it, but every time you sit down, it's agony.
Yeah.
How long does it take you usually to gather enough tunes to do that?
Well, it usually takes us, I suppose, about 8 months. When I say it usually takes us that time, it's because it's usually determined by by the schedule that we have. I mean, we work in a year's period. We make an album, and that takes, say, 2 months or 2.5 months, whatever. And then we tour for, say it takes 2.5 months to make an album, then it takes 2 months for the album to come out from the time you finish it, so that's 4.5 months. Then you spend, 4 to 6 months touring to promote the album, and then it comes time to make another album, and in that time you've sort of gradually accumulated material and worked toward making your next album. But I mean, if for example we came off the road, we didn't start touring, we didn't start to tour now, we might very well start making a new album in 3 months, because we'd sit down and we'd start writing songs straight away.
You've actually done a Lieber Stoller song on this album, I Keep Forgetting. Was it your collection that gave this Chuck Jackson record to you, or did they bring it to you?
No, I had it in my collection. It was one of their productions from many years ago. And I don't actually think it was a particularly well-known song at the time it came out, or since, although it was always a classic. And in fact, when we were talking to Jerry and Mike, we'd already said we'd like to do one of their songs. And in fact, we had a great deal of discussion and playing around with songs, and they were using mostly modern ones. In fact, they're contemporary stuff that they've been writing. And, did we like this one? Did we like that one? In fact, we felt they were trying to write for us, which brought it very close to our own material. And it became pointless to do a song like that, because we had our own songs, and there didn't seem much point in that side of things. They realised this in the end, and we'd mentioned to them Keep Forgetting a couple of times, which we never actually played ourselves, because it's rather the original record is quite a complicated thing. It's more a sound than anything. And I said, all right, let's do it for Keep Again then. So we sat down and played it. And I think Mike had several ideas how for certain riffs in it, which we used, and the rest was it's very much a performance number than anything else. It was played very quickly and fairly simple chords, so we just sort of bashed through it in about 2 takes, I think.
Final Thrust is one that Keith has selected.
Yeah. I like that. I liked it right when we actually did the song. I really liked it, before we'd even start rehearsing it, before the group had played it. And when we started rehearsing it, it just didn't work out at all. We couldn't seem to find a way of doing it at all. And in fact, when we played it to Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller, they couldn't see how to do it. And it's a funny track because it's ended up sort of by accident. I don't know why it turned out the way it has. It seemed to just come together in the studio and voices and things. And I really like the way it's turned out. But it seems to be very as if by magic or something.
I think that the one thing we experienced with this album, with them producing it, was the fact that they write songs themselves, and like as good as anybody can write them, that they were able to appreciate any good or bad points that Keith and I might have written in our songs. And particularly, I think, from the words point of view, it's always much easier to pick up on music and riffs and things than it is on words. I think this particular track, Jerry Lieber realised that that the words had a certain meaning and a certain feeling. I think he transformed the track to comply with that a lot. It's after all a war. I was going to say a war song, but it's about that sort of trouble.
The unquiet zone is an unusual expression. We've heard of the Twilight Zone. This is the unquiet zone. Who coined that one?
Well, there again, that's another one. It's inspired by a war, by the First World War, the Great War. That's right. And the unquiet zone came out of that. And it's a song about war, about the First World War. And the unquiet zone is like a sort of a no man's land.
I was trying, pull me through, shine so brightly, look brand new. Ooh, God, broke my heart, shone so brightly, and it fell apart.
While Paul Gambaccini was speaking with Gary Brooker and Keith Reid, I nipped outside on a personal errand, and a couple of young ladies approached me outside broadcast.